So, back again today, and I think I wanted to talk today about what is kind of going on in the world that a lot of people are not noticing. So, I have many times told people, hey, Julian Assange is in trouble or having a lot of difficulties. And I'm not current on that story. Not since I got out of jail. Okay? But Julian Assange was having a lot of troubles because he has a website called WikiLeaks. And it tells a great deal of information that has been going on in the background in elite circles and has been basically a horror story. It's really, a lot of this stuff is horror stories. Some of it is what happens in industries with the products that we buy into, whether they be food or transportation or technology. Some of it is entertainment industry on different levels, every level. Some of it is business, banking. Some of it is science that probably goes along with the technology. But anyway, I always tell people they should look into that website, which is WikiLeaks. I'm going to say it again, WikiLeaks. Spelled exactly like it sounds. WIKILEAKS. WikiLeaks. Okay, I realize a lot of people don't spell worth shit. Anyway, that website gives all sorts of information on all kinds of different levels. I used to upload a link directing people to the site where they could just press it or whatnot. And then I started having a lot of interference. Like I used to be on Chat House and I would be talking to people because they would get into these discussions in Chat House. I think it's Chat House, Clubhouse, might be Clubhouse. It was an Apple program. And it's basically, for anybody that had an Apple phone, you could go into, I don't know, Chat House, Clubhouse, whatever the hell it was. I think it was Clubhouse. And you could have these random discussions about all sorts of topics. They had people talking about a whole bunch of shallow, what do you call it? Materialistic bullshits ways of being. So I don't give a fuck about who the fucking neighbor is screwing. I don't give a fuck about who the people in high school were and what they're doing, and it's nice that everybody's healthy and all that other shit. But as far as the gossip about who you're screwing and whose fucking foundations you've wrecked and all that other shit, if it ain't mine, it ain't my fucking business. So I'm just happy to be the fuck out of it. Okay, so anyway, they'd be having all these damn discussions. So I would interrupt all this shit, and they'd be telling people about being materialistic and which bankings to get into. And while that sounds like it's a topic that you really want to know because you want to work, you want to control your finances and you want to make sure that you're having money and all this other shit, I had already read so much information that I realized that just leads you further down the fucking rabbit hole and then gets you caught up in contract and all this other shit. So anyway, when you get into the WikiLeaks site, it gives you so many different topics of or genres of information. No matter what your interest is, no matter what little hair has been crawling up your butt, giving you bother in your life, you can go on that site, research a thing, and you can start finding where those problems stem from and how to shut those problems down. Okay, so I suggest that site, WikiLeaks, to everybody. Now, I'm going to get into something which I didn't realize was so very, very big. I mean, even though they said that it was big, I couldn't imagine the totality of it. I couldn't imagine it then. I am barely getting a glimpse of it now, and it is huge and ugly. Okay, so when I very first left home, I had a boyfriend that I lived with, and really, really sweet guy. Would do anything for you, give you the shirt off his back. He would, put all kinds of effort into really just being there and gentle and kind and all this other stuff, right? He had a horrible problem. He had a drug problem. And I have a drug problem. And I think I tried to be patient at first, and then I was just angry because he was fucking up all kinds of our dreams. Just fucking them up. And I got violent. I got abusive. And he loved me, and he tried to stay, and he had already come from something completely foul and fucked up. So, needless to say, it did not work out, but I realized that the foul and fucked up that he came from was not simply an isolated thing. A few years later, I met somebody else, and I realized that they came from something really foul and fucked up too. A few years later, I meet somebody else, and I realize that he came from something really foul and fucked up too. And this goes on. So here I am. This, I used to say black, then I was saying melanated, now I am saying Egyptian. Here I am, this, living at that time, this black female, and the base of my family structure, my grandfather, he worked, he had a solid income. We lived in nice neighborhood. We always had food. We weren't hungry. We had a decent house, not like the newest, most modern sort of thing, but we were comfortable. It definitely was nowhere near ragged. And for a long time before he married his whore. Yes, I'm saying that very clearly and purposely, and I don't mean to, I'm not just saying it loosely. So before he married his whore, our family did stuff like Friday nights. We went skating. We went skating, and we played board games, group sessions. We We did stuff like go to the beach on the weekends and hang out. We did stuff like go to the park and play tennis. And it was a very wholesome environment. And I thought everybody lived like that. It just seemed like that was normal. I didn't realize that it wasn't normal. Now, mind you, we were not rich. We were not rich. It just seemed like that was a normal scenario. I thought everybody did it. I thought everybody played school when it was wet outside and rainy and you couldn't go out, or when it was just too cold in the wintertime. I thought everybody played dolls and stuff. I didn't know that beyond doing something bad and getting a few taps, like literally no more than 8 or 10 licks on your ass when you had done something bad, I didn't know that people got beat, like beat. I didn't know that like kids really went hungry. So I guess you can say that I was like really naive. Like even now, I know I've dated, I've hung out with people who were pretty wealthy. Well, not wealthy, I'll say rich, because there's a difference. They were rich, and they would tell me about how they grew up, and sometimes they'd say, no, we were poor, like we didn't have food, like we didn't have clothes, like we went to school dirty and hungry and was happy to have school lunches. And people would be like, no, like we stole food in order to get along. And I was like, well, they're exaggerating a little bit. I mean, that can't really be really real. And then time goes on, meet more people, and I'm realizing now I can start reading through personalities. And I realize the way that I don't get overly upset or really stingy, or I don't have a greed desire for something. I don't need something so very badly that I am willing to lie and steal for it. Like I just don't. And I'm realizing that many people, no matter where they come from, are simply not like that. But anyway, I started realizing that these people who had come from these backgrounds where they are really unadjusted and they are apprehensive and angry and needy and angry. I said angry already. On these different levels. I'm realizing that they really experienced a lack in their early childhood development like I cannot imagine, or at that time could not have imagined. And even now, I think there is stuff that I cannot imagine. So, I keep saying it, and I'm going to say it again. Please go to the WikiLeaks website and investigate some of the rumors and the things that people talk about, these celebrities being a part of, these elite people being a part of. No matter what those headlines have been, research them. Find out exactly what they are. Lists, look it up at least 20 to 30 times. Open Windows in your computers as you're looking these things up. Pages, look them up. And then you will see the need to stay abreast of what the political world is doing, how the political world is making decisions over your everyday lives. You're wondering why the fuck their refrigerator costs fucking $2,600 to get, something that supposedly isn't going to break down. Well, those are the better ones. I'll tell the truth honestly. Well, they're not even the better ones. They're just the ones that allow you more functionality to play with, but they're also spying on you. Figure out why 4 or 5 years in, the refrigerator breaks down, whereas your grandmother had one 40, 50 years ago, and she had that damn thing for 30 years, literally. The worst that happened was the wire rack developed some rust. And the air filter developed some, what do you call it, lint. Once you cleaned it off and everything, the shit worked perfectly fine. It didn't even harden and crust over in the freezer with all the ice and stuff. So you will see why things need to be replaced continuously, why they are trying to get you to buy into the new technologies. They need you to buy into the new technology so that they can track, trace, and monitor wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, how you're making decisions, and what things are happening in your lives. And the reason why they're doing that is because it's a form of control. Are you excelling? Are you growing? Are you growing too fast? Are you staying right inside of the mainstream that we want you to stay in? Or is there growth in a direction that they don't approve of? Because if you are having that direction that you think, well, you know what, we're supposed to become more intelligent, we're supposed to become more problem-free as we develop, we're supposed to utilize the knowledge, the information that we have, and we're supposed to grow into a more intelligent space and time and personality, and things are supposed to get easier through that growth. Well, quite honestly, they don't want things to get easier for you. They need you to stay in conflict, in chaos. I used to see this all the time, and I think that it's on money, but it might be on something else. Order through chaos. Yeah, so anyway, and it was written in Latin, and I can't remember how to say it in Latin. But that really is what it is. As long as you are in a chaotic state all of the time, then it justifies the growth, the manning, the development for a policed state. It used to be, we would think that, okay, well, that cop that is now, I went to high school with him. Or he was in my elementary school or something, and you knew these people. But sometime in the 70s, or definitely by the time the 80s were coming in, we were realizing that the faces that we were seeing in our local communities were no longer local faces. So we were being policed by people that had come from other areas. Now they're coming from either even further away from us. Before, it used to be just 100 miles over, 200 miles over. Maybe you just moved in from another place or another part of the country. Now they're bringing in people from outside of the country. And the reason why that is that guy that went to high school with you, that has now become the cop, is not going to be as cutthroat and dirty with you as that person who came 500, 1,000 miles away. They don't know you. There is no heartfelt interest. There is nothing that says to them, hey, stop this. Don't be so nasty. Get the fuck away from me. So nasty to these people. Don't cause them such a harm that they cannot break free from. Okay, so now they are bringing in people from let's say China, the Philippines, the Middle East, India, Hindu, all these different places. They're bringing all these people in. Or I said Hindu, that's a people, that's not a place. But they're bringing these people in from across the world, across the country, because, and I know y'all are listening, y'all little nosy motherfuckers. They're bringing these people in because they can't relate to you. They don't care when they pick up that piece of paper and they start writing your name on it. Like, I went to jail. The girl's name was Eltringham. Clearly a British last name. She wrote in after arresting me that she didn't know what race I was. Mind you, when I got arrested, I had a passport that basically declared that I was a national and that I was in a immunity space. And in order to successfully get away with arresting me, what they did was not properly input a description on me. So the description that they gave was, well, she purposely said, after having taken my passport, which does not give you necessarily a race, but it definitely says your place of birth. I don't think it says your city or your county, but it definitely says your state. And looking at me in a normal environment where maybe there had not been discussions previous, because it was definitely planned to arrest me, where if those discussions had not previously taken place, where it said race, they would have put in black. Look at all this kinky hair here, like this is obviously an afro puff. Afros, unless you're a Jew, unless you got a Jew fro, they're gonna say that you're black. Okay, so she said an unknown race. And see, I'm not mixed. I don't look like the type of person that you would not give a description that would not result in black. Okay. So she put in that I was of an unknown race with an unknown place of birth. All right, so now I go into this system, and this is even further crazy because they took my prints. And I don't know how the hell that didn't pop back up, because I know I've been printed left and right, all different kinds of ways. First you do it when you're a kid and they want to put you in the system because supposedly they want to make sure if you ever go missing, there's an easy way to find you, which is bullshit. And then later on, military. I went to the military. Then later on, I don't know, jobs, stuff like that. And unfortunately, once or twice prior, I had been arrested. Little bullshit, but I had been. So, overnight, pay a fine, be done. Nothing huge, nothing big. Okay, but that leads a trail. Somehow, they arrested me under this unidentified thing when I got into jail. And I was there, like I said, for 10 months. Every girl, except for maybe one or two, had a photo on her, on her, what do you call that thing? Wristband. They give you wristbands with your little jail number, your booking number, and all that other shit. So everybody had that. I didn't have a photo. I didn't have, I guess somebody looked me up somehow or something. I even haven't done it now. But all of this stuff that's supposed to normally have happened at your booking. Matter of fact, I didn't even get booked. Like, originally in the first jail, which was like supposed to be the overnight thing, and then you go to court, and then the next day, you go to court, and when you go to court, then basically, if you've not done something hugely wrong, they basically let you know, okay, well, you're going to come back to court later on, blah, 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 and whatever, and they let you go. Well, they were determined they weren't going to let me go. So, that was the booking that I had. Then when they transferred me into the jail, I did not have a booking. Like, literally, like I was sitting there, and I kind of made this exclamation because I was frustrated. I was like, how in the fuck does this happen? I was like, ah! So when I did that, they were like, oh, put her in a room. She's having an outburst. She's like, something's wrong with her. So they put me in this fucking room, and I sat in this room for fucking 12 hours. After the 12 hours, then they start moving me down into the general population. Well, I never got booked. They never did the fucking fingerprinting again. They just transferred whatever paperwork they had, and they just accepted that shit. Now, I know they didn't actually book me because when I left jail, I had to leave the group of people that they were releasing, and I had to go and get booked in order for them to release me. So, there's a whole lot of fuckery going on. Anyway, so back to this thing. They do a whole lot of horrible shit to people, and they are corrupt as all shit. Now, until I started getting some other information, because now by this time I have completed a lot of paperwork, and I have come to comprehend that on the state level and below, there's no code of ethics that they have to follow. So there's no honesty in the way they do things. And they just accept it like that. Like it's just okay. Spies everywhere. It's just okay. They're just allowing that to just go on. So, anyway, these things that people go through when they're kids is meant to harm them, to hurt them, to push them into a state of conformity. And it happens to people, and I don't know, I guess when I left home I was like really super naive. And it is a lot more prevalent than is known, is even thought of. Even when you can see what it is, you keep thinking that it's this isolated incident over here, or it's an isolated incident over there. It's not isolated. It's not isolated at all. And the same way that we watch these movies and we watch people in the background know what's going on, and they turn that blind eye like, oh, I can't get involved, or I'm just doing what I'm told. That happens on a larger scale. So if people know, oh, I can't get involved, or I'm just going to pretend that I don't see it, or I'm just doing what I'm told, that means they know. They clearly know, and they are a part of it. For the people who are not a part of it, for the people who are not helping to proliferate what's going on, you people are the ones who need to stand up, to speak out, to speak on whatever harms have come about in your life. You need to be the biggest, loudest mouth out there, because there is a reason that you can't do the honest thing and move forward through life. You can't do that thing that says, well, you're supposed to, learn some stuff, whether you go through school, whether you go through trade, or whether you go to college. You're supposed to learn how to do a job, and you're supposed to just get up and go in every day and go through the rigmarole of life and get your paycheck and, pay your bills and go home. Well, when you have problems to the extent that you need to sedate yourself in order to be okay, that is by design. Because whatever it is that you are going through, I guarantee you, there was a set of eyes that watched you go through that experience, and they never spoke up. They didn't speak up to protect you. They didn't speak up to stop it. They didn't speak up to be a voice that alerted anyone else. And that was done on purpose. I would say that some people are scared, but I think really ultimately it's not really a matter of being scared, it's more strategic. Because just about everybody knows that once you shine a light on something, like roaches, it scatters. It breaks up. It's no longer standing there being as strong and as forceful as it appeared. And that's the thing. They want you to think that it is this strong force that cannot be stopped. But the reality is, the ones on the know or in the know, there's a smaller pool of them. And let me say it like this, on a ratio, or not even a ratio basis, but when you are in a high school, okay, let's say class by class, you've got one teacher and you've got 20 to 30 students. So now, when you think about that whole high school, I'm going to say the one that I went to, we probably had, let me just throw an odd number out there, 40 teachers. Maybe more than 40, maybe 60 teachers. So if we've got 60 teachers, then we've got 60 times, let's say 25, which my math is going to be completely the fuck off here. I don't know, 630. I'm so wrong. My math is so off. So I'm going to say roughly 630 kids. That's wrong. I know it's wrong. Oh, that's so fucking wrong. All right. Let me see. Let's do it like this. Let's grab a calculator. Grab a calculator. Because my math sucks. Okay, so we've got 60 teachers, and we've got 25 kids per class. Oh, it's 1,500. Fuck, I was wrong as hell. Okay. I should have doubled it. Okay, so we've got 1,500 kids. You got 1,500 kids. Now, and I'm not telling anybody this, but when you know that somebody is saying something that is just wrong, just wrong on all kinds of levels, you have enough weight to say that's unacceptable, and then not accept it. So when I think about, okay, who runs a government office? You got the person that was voted in. You've got their staff. They might have a staff of maybe 20. And how many different people in one building have been voted into their positions? Let's say city election time. What do? You vote for maybe 12, 15, 20 people. So that would be a staff of about 20 times 15. Oh shit, now I gotta do it again. 300? Okay, so in a mid-size town, you've got 300 people who are leading it, and you might have a population of 150, 200,000. So if that's your population size, as opposed to those 400 to 600 people who are working, and then let's go ahead and say, okay, they can call in help. So let's say there's a police force, and I don't even begin to know how many people would be on staff. I'm not even going to go there. But we know we are not seeing more than, like in my neighborhood where I grew up, I think it was very rare that a cop car came down my street. Like, it was almost like, oh my God, what are they doing? Generally, it was just probably somebody going to somebody's house to get food or to go cheat or something like that. There was almost never anything that was going on in my neighborhood. But when we saw that car roll through. I was like, what the fuck are they doing here? So, if that is how rarely you see one of these people, that means you definitely have a ratio of people that is large enough that when you say that is unacceptable, you carry more weight. You can become more effective. Okay, so start paying attention to what these political rumors are. Start paying attention, because they are saying that the idea that they are pushing, that law, that bill, that whatever it is that I can't even think of another word, but whatever that thing is, they are saying that that ideal is more popular than what is currently going on, which is the status quo. They're saying that bill, that idea that they are voting in, that they are trying to push, that agenda that they are pushing, they are saying that that is more popular than the status quo. Okay, so I am going to say that, and I've seen it several times, back and forth with all of these different new agendas people are pushing. I don't have a child in elementary school anymore, but some drag queen coming in a full face of fucking makeup and lashes and heels and skirts and heels and glitter and all that shit with the big fucking wigs and all that otherness, that is completely fucking unacceptable. So if that one drag queen is going to my child's story time and there's 25 kids in that class, then that means there's probably 50 fucking parents and even 25 parents, if it is really unlikely that every single kid would only have one parent. 25 parents showing up to that fucking class that fucking day saying this shit is unacceptable without even getting to a point of violent anger. That's fucking 25 sets of 5. That's 50 eyes. And then let's say each eye is attached to a telephone, because now everybody's carrying them in their pocket. And most telephones have a front-facing and a rear-facing camera. So I'm going to say that's 100 eyes. There's no fucking way that 100 eyes is not going to carry some fucking weight when you say that is unacceptable. And you don't even have to go any further than that. This is unacceptable. When you stare somebody down like that, I don't give a fuck who they are. They are not going to feel confident in standing there and pushing that shitty agenda. They're not. Like I said, I don't advocate violence. I'm not ever going to tell anybody to do that. I'm going to tell you that speaking out stops a lot of shit. Stops a whole lot of shit. There should be a whole lot less Boy Scout leaders. There should be a whole lot less pastors. There should be a whole lot less pedophiles. There should be a whole lot less angered adults because they had foul things happened to them in childhood. So, and stop thinking that somebody else's clothing, material wealth is some cool shit. It's not. It's not cool shit. It is some everyday ass material that someone put together and made it popular. You can make anything popular. I remember 10th grade, beginning of the year, we went shopping, and I wanted a shoe that had little as possible rubber on the bottom. And this was a sneaker. And what I ended up finding was these really, really amazing, I think they were Nikes. They might not have been. They might have been Adidas. I'm not sure. But they were wrestling shoes. Not the ones with the cleats. Complete rubber bottom. And I decided that that was the shoe that I just had to have, and that's what I wanted, and that's what I was bought. I wore it to school probably second, third, fourth day of school. And everybody would be like, oh my God, where'd you get those? Those are really cool. Those are really cool. By the second or third week of school, shit, damn near a quarter of the school who was not on the fucking wrestling team was walking around wearing the wrestling shoes. I made something popular that was not popular. It was a wrestler's shoe, and if you weren't on the wrestling team, it did not occur to most people to want to wear that. It wasn't that it was impossible to do. It just, when people see a thing, it puts it in their mind and they want to run with it. They want to copycat. I wasn't special. I ended up becoming some sort of trendsetter, not even attempting to do so. I just didn't want a big bulky ass bunch of rubber and plastic on the bottom of my foot. I didn't want to feel weighed down. So, somebody else's clothing or whatever does not necessarily make them anybody worth following. I just was some kid. And that happens in almost every scenario of life. But you can't think. Like, honestly, I think most of my clothes that I've had, I have not spent a lot of money on them. I have not. I was, for a long time, a retail therapy kind of girl. You could find me in almost anybody's clearance section. And I had the cutest shit all of the time. I was fucking cute all of the fucking time. I did not spend a lot of money on what I had. I did not. I was getting fucking bargain basement deals on everything. I didn't even know how to negotiate these deals. I was just finding them. So, don't chase people with this fucking bling bling, with this latest and the greatest. Most of those people are fucking robbing Peter to pay Paul. And if you know like I know, they're robbing your fucking trust fund in order to pay their dues to the devil. So, research the rumors. Find out what they are, what they stem from, why they are allowed to continue in motion. And then realize that your lack of speaking out is a good deal of the problem. So, y'all have a more informed day. And please be more proactive than you were yesterday. Ah, shit.